The cast of Five Nights at Freddy's went through some complicated rules to get through filming. One of the things that stood out to viewers in Five Nights at Freddy's is the fact that the movie was made with the fans in mind. And this was possible because the cast had to follow a very strict rule. So the important rule was for the cast to portray their roles in a way that appeals to the fans and everyone. The film's director, Emma Tammy, explained why this was one of their driving forces on set when she said, "There are so many younger fans of this franchise. We really wanted this to be inclusive for them as well. Especially the opportunity to be able to go see this in a movie theater with friends is just such a powerful thing for a younger audience." The movie took its time to include some major details that fans would immediately recognize, but this was a challenging thing for the cast and crew to achieve, as Emma revealed that it took 8 years to get this element right. So they had to get the help of the game's creator, Scott Cawthon, and worked closely with him to get the best results. Emma revealed why Scott was needed in helping the cast to follow the rule, saying, "Scott was essential and gave us a clear blueprint of what he wanted this film to include both inside of the franchise and the new story elements." The cast and crew learned the right things and got to know what the fans would be able to relate to, which definitely worked. However, Scott's help only made the movie acceptable to fans. But there was still more to the rule, which was to make it loved by everyone, especially people who were getting to know about Five Nights at Freddy's. To make this happen, Emma went extra to include some details she knew that every viewer would love to see. But then, the director is more thankful to have the fans' point of view in creating the movie because it helped make every other strict rule on the set easier. So for the film to appeal to the fans, the cast had to understand every little detail about the game, and that led to another strict rule where they had to research to be able to do their part. For a franchise with a huge fan base, it's very easy for the cast to be called out for not honoring the fans or source materials. And to make sure that didn't happen, the cast had to learn more about the games if they didn't already know. By doing that, it became easier to join the crew in shooting the film with the fans in mind. This wasn't a job where the cast got in to read the script and translate it to the screen. They had to do a lot of work to get everything right. Although Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror movie, fans find some very fun aspects of the film enjoyable. So another strict rule on set for the cast members was for them to relax and have fun, especially with the animatronics. And that's because the best way to bring out their human sides is to make them look realistic and fun. Interestingly, this particular rule had more to do with the youngest cast on set, Piper Rubio, who plays Abby. The character Abby really loved the animatronics and wasn't afraid of them, even when the older characters seemed terrified. And that made it an important rule for Piper to be exactly like her character so she could get super comfortable and play her part right. But then the crazy thing about this is that this rule was a very easy one for Piper to obey because she definitely had a whole lot of fun playing with the animatronics behind the scenes. The director, Emma, explained that she didn't even have to enforce the rule before Piper became good friends with the animatronics. She said, "We have one 10-year-old actress, Piper Rubio, and she was so in love with these animatronics that she would hug them every day when she got to set and hug them every day when she left set." The director was very surprised to have seen Piper bond so quickly with the unique characters on set. She revealed that Piper's extra devotion and friendship to the animatronics was even more than she anticipated because it didn't seem like Piper was following a rule at all. That explains why Piper got the job in the first place. Of every young actress who auditioned, Piper stood out because they could see she would be the perfect person to have around the animatronics on set. The game creator, Scott, mentioned that he kept skipping every other audition tape just to rewatch Piper's performance. For Emma, though, all she wanted to see was if Piper would be able to follow the rule of her being comfortable with the animatronics, and she was shocked to see how that happened so fast. Emma explained Piper's reactions the first time she met the animatronics, saying, "Her jaw just dropped. She turned to me and said, 'I thought they were just going to be men in green suits.' She was over the moon that she was actually going to be meeting Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy." Piper herself revealed that she got the best fun experience of her life by working on Five Nights at Freddy's. Emma, who wanted to make sure Piper followed the rules of having fun, initially thought that she would be scared. And to prevent that from happening, she gave Piper a rainbow owl plushie called Owen to bring her comfort. But with every time that Piper spent with the animatronics, the less time she needed the plushie to get comfortable. The young actress said, "Later, Later, I asked Emma if she could stop bringing Owen. I wanted to stay in character. So behind the scenes, Piper became so friendly that every other thing needed for her character to do became super convenient. Josh Hutcherson, who plays Mike, also praised Piper's dedication as a young actress when he said, "Piper is just an absolute joy to work with and be around. She has a lot of creative ownership over her work." Apparently, Piper wasn't the only one who had to interact with the animatronics. The other cast members who had different experiences with the characters also needed to follow a strict rule of treating them as real people. The director herself sees them as real, and she tried her best to make them very practical, so it was a must that the cast did the same thing. She described the animatronics saying, "I will say these animatronics need a lot. These characters are divas, but they deserve a lot." To make this rule very easy, Emma left out the option to use CGI and had to contact Jim Henson's Creature Shop to bring them to reality. The lead supervisor at the Creature Shop, Robert Bennett, explained how they made the movements and actions of these characters real in a way that the cast could relate to them as humans. He said, "We had to make multiples of each character so that when we're on site on the day, if Chica needs to be in this shot, but then the next shot is doing something completely different, we can build another one before that shot." Each of the characters had 12 extra arms and other necessary body parts to be able to fit into every action needed on set. Also, they employed puppeteers to operate the animatronics, and all these made it easy for the cast to see the characters as fellow actors like them. Aside from the innocent and fun aspect of Five Nights at Freddy's, there are also deep issues that are involved in the film. And to make fans feel this, the cast also had to follow another important rule where they had to have a deeper portrayal of their characters. So, while Abby was busy trying to connect with young kids her age, Mike was battling with deeper problems. From trying not to lose custody of Abby to having constant nightmares about his past, Mike gave a scary vibe to the film. And for the cast, Josh, to do this well, he also had to look deeper to get out those crazy and scary feelings. Emma mentioned how Josh was able to follow this rule when she said, "He was so excited about the franchise and the animatronics and the really fun elements of Five Nights at Freddy's, but he was also engaged on a deeper character level and did such an authentic job of portraying Mike." But then this rule is super tricky because most game adaptations aren't always deep. Some viewers also say they couldn't see the scary and emotional part of the film, but it was really an important aspect that the cast had to prepare for. Also, Emma believes some of those issues weren't really tackled and hopes for a second chance to further develop the deep side of Five Nights at Freddy's. There's also a very dark side to the film that's quite haunting and scary, which fans saw Matthew Lillard portray. However, even though the dark story wasn't fully explored with backstories or flashbacks, the cast still had to bring that part of the movie out. The actor Matthew was able to follow this rule without any issue because he perfectly understood how to play a sick and crazy serial hunter. Matthew, who's more popular for a similar role in Scream, got the job because the director knew he would perfectly follow the rule to bring the dark part of the film to the screen, and even though the cast Matthew only featured in about 2 scenes of the film, his portrayal of the character makes it look as if he was present and listening to everything, so being able to bring this ghostly feeling was really important, and Matthew was definitely up for the job. Share your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching!